Vinny, before we even opened, we were R&Ding pizzas in fucking at John Arena's spot.
Oh, really?
Out on Sky Point. We were R&Ding bread out there as well.
Okay.
And so like that's where that combination of people came from. Is like that's where I met those guys. That's where I met John Arena. Like I was like, I need someone with a bakery. Like so that way I can work on bread.
Right.
And John was like, come on over, meet Chris. And it was like the nicest fucking human beings. And they're always like, we're gonna show up at 5 a.m. every day and bake one loaf of bread. And we would go up there and we put we has that great Empire baking deck out there, right?
Yeah.
And so we would go, we put one on, dink, and we just sit there and watch it. Just like, okay. And we they thought we were like his AM prep guys who were doing like the doughs and everything, they thought we were nuts.
Right.
And we would just like literally take the bread out, throw it in the trash, leave, come back the next day with another bread. Seriously, like for weeks.
Yeah.
And then, the worst part was when we opened up Esther's, we didn't have our mixer yet.
Okay.
Like the mixer didn't have the right bowl with it and it didn't have the right arms. So for 6 weeks, Dylan hand mixed all the bread for Esther's. He would fucking divide it. We'd put it in the walk-in. He'd wake up at 3 a.m. He'd come over, grab it, put it in his car, drive to Sky Point, bake for the day, come back, and then start making pasta for the restaurant.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He's a fucking soldier. Like, here's the thing is, any chef who says that they fucking did it on their own is a fucking liar.
Yeah,
you need people who are as crazy as you to do the shit that we do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because you need that inspiration from everybody. Yeah. Like Vinny just did this. I'm telling him, I've been really strongly advocated for him to go to the pan division with this pie. He took a Detroit par-baked crust, sliced it in half, loaded it with chicken parm, then closes it, and then dumps fucking cheese all over it, and then fucking marinara sauce when it fucking comes out post-bake. And I was like, bro, I am fucking stealing this from you. So
100%.
This is the greatest fucking thing ever.
Idea.
It's genius because it doesn't work on top of the pie.
No. Not at all.
And it doesn't work when you just do a focaccia in it. But you throw cheese on top, and the cheese is well, it's a
Detroit. It's a Detroit, right?
It's a Detroit.
Yeah.
But the cheese on top, he doesn't put the sauce on.
Right.
So the cheese just burns out. You know that perfectly burnt, amazingly caramelized
the way
mozzarella.
You get it out of it comes out of a fucking salad marinator, but he does it for 18 minutes at a fucking 525 degree oven.
Yes, exactly.
And the moisture from the chicken it saves.
It doesn't go away because of the cheese and everything.
It also saves the dough.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's a perfect combination, and I love it.
I didn't think I was going to be, because it's 113 degrees outside. I'm I need to eat salads. I can't deal with chicken parm smothered with cheese right now. And I fucking woofed that shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Whose dough I liked last night at the thing that you guys did over at Good Pie. At Good Pie. I almost call it evil. Fuck me. He's going to punch me. At Good Pie was the guys from fucking Forte. Mimo.
Okay. Yeah.
Mimo's fucking dough.
Yeah.
I mean, this family has...
They've been here a long time.
30 years.
30 years.
Making pizza in the city for over 30 years.
Right.
And what you have is these guys, and you get a bite of that dough, and it has the perfect crisp. It's like every really good fucking New York pie.
Right.
And you never know. You'd never know, because he's just so humble about it. And he's a chef. He runs Ferraro's Kitchen. He's Gino's son, and his fucking dough has always been the closest to fucking Manhattan street pie that I've ever had.
So I love that you're saying this right now. So I forget who I was talking. I was talking to somebody at the event, and I was like, listen, right around the corner is the greatest Italian restaurant that you'll ever go to in your life. And Mimo turns around and says, what? Where? And I'm like, oh, my boy James Tree's place. And he's like, okay, we like James Tree's. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
we're really good too.
You have to understand, the two of those people that you had in that room last night, Mimo and Gio,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they are the pillars of Italian cuisine in Las Vegas. They are the ones. Their
Right.
families are the ones who built Italian cuisine in this city. They were the only ones running independent restaurants. Now, they went two different ways. Nora's, which is Gio's family.
Right.
Right? Like went more kind of like mainstream
Corporate.
kind of things.
Yeah.
And then Mimo's family and his dad Gino went more wine-based, high-end convention business.
Mm-hmm.
What they did is they opened up this giant fucking hole that I ran Esther's right through.
Right.
Right? Which is like make everything, undercharge for everything, make everything affordable. It's the everyday restaurant. Like if you go to Mimo, Ferraro's, you're going there once a month max. If you
Yeah,
go to
because you
fucking-
just can't afford it. You
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
be like
if you're
very
going to
wealthy.
Nora's, you're like, all right, cool. This is kind of Italian food. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of like feels like that. But no one was doing the classics. No one was doing handmade pasta. No one was doing that. So like we opened this restaurant that fit the neighborhood and fit a need inside of Las Vegas. And really, I think like I would have no problem with saying I like fucking Ferraro's, I like Monzu, I like fucking Nora's, you know, and I like Esther's.
Yeah.
They're completely different restaurants. They could be
100%.
fucking like one of them could be Indian cuisine. You'd never fucking know.
After Vinny took me to your place and, you know, we hung out a little bit, like immediately I was like, you know, I went back to Expo and I was just like, you know, Fred Mortati from Caputo. I'm like, bro, go to this fucking restaurant, like right after this.
Yeah.
And now we've like, you know, had this tradition for a long time.
Absolutely.
Obviously, this is Caputo's not here this year, really. So it's a little bit of a different thing, but we've had this tradition of like
Throwing a fucking
we
party.
throw a fucking
Jonathan
banger.
Goldsmith coming over, right?
All these.
I mean, like
none of them are here right now, by the way.
I know. I thought it was.
No one's fucking here.
Can we talk about like 2 years ago, the party?
Oh my God.
Like having the Italian fucking pizza team in the back of Esther's on the fucking patio outside, fucking making pizzas with my pizza guy at the time, who's Casey, who's now a floor manager for me. Like having fucking
Michael
Vinny's oven.
D'Amelio, fucking JC,
Dude,
all these
throwing
fucking
down.
guys.
That was like
Julie Adriani.
underground rap battle of fucking pizza out of Vinny's oven. Like we just brought we're like, who cares? Just bring the ingredients out from the restaurant and have people just make pizzas out.
We had your guys making pizza out there. Yeah, they were banging out.
Oh, Justin Ford.
Yeah,
was
Justin
making
Ford
pies.
was like, coming out.
Casey was making, because Casey worked at Evil Pie, and before that he was at Naked City. Like the guy loves fucking pizza. In fact, he's a floor manager, and every once in a while he's like, I have an idea for a new pizza, and it like goes on the menu. Like that's like who does that? Like whatever. But he's just so ingrained in it, and he loves it so much. But like, we've been refining that dough for 3.5 years. We've been fucking working on it constantly.
So what kind of pizzas do you offer right now? What are the...
We do. So obviously all natural starter, 3-day fermentation. We use Biga, old dough in the recipe. We like whip that in and gives it a ton of flavor. 3% salt to slow down the fermentation.
Sure.
We use 0.5% of sugar in it to like kind of like add a crispiness and lightness to the crust.
Okay.
And so that's basic. I mean, we're at like what, 84% hydration.
Okay.
Like
Real
it's
high.
a very high hydration.
Yeah.
But we also keep it tight, right? We individually fucking ball each one.
Yeah, you
put
have them in like the
cups.
Chinese.
I put them in deli cups.
They're like the Chinese quart containers.
Exactly,
We call
like
our pints.
everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We keep them in there, and then we literally ferment them individually on the station.
Right.
So like when they hit the top of the cup, they're ready. We throw away like fucking 10 doughs a night. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's just making sure that the dough is perfect when we do it. And then like we do a merguez pie, which is like Spanish chorizo, house-made merguez. We use Michael Vecnine's harissa to make the merguez.
Okay.
It's like 90% ground lamb, 10% ground chicken, which is a very traditional thing. We add spices, toast them, add in his harissa, and then that's like the sausage that we put on top of it. We actually use our pomodoro, which is Rob de Napoli's Bianco tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
That we use for the pomodoro.
We're going to see Chris Bianco after this. This is over.
He's a champion.
Oh yeah. He's great.
All
right, go on. I didn't mean to.
He's got
No, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. I'm fucking up over here.
We use local mozzarella cheese from Northern Nevada.
Okay. Really? They make mozzarella cheese in Northern Nevada?
Yeah.
They have cows there?
The low moisture moisture one, right? They have great cows up there. Actually, it's right next to Fry Ranch, which makes great whiskey and beef too. So we're using those guys, and then I mean, overall, like trying to buy as good a shit as possible, support farmers, do all that, and then also supporting someone like Mike, who like is a great pizza maker. Papa Pizza is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah,
right?
We're gonna have him on in a couple days.
Exactly.
He's amazing. I love that fucking guy.
But like who would have thought that he's the harissa guy? Like, and I tasted his harissa, and it reminded me of a guy in LA who's this crazy Moroccan dude that would just come over and be like, "Take the harissa." Like, give me $40. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we choose to take it. Now I have this guy, and Michael's the exact opposite, just super nice and fucking just humble and awesome.
He
and
is the nicest guy in the world. I actually, because I got to put my producer in a hotel tonight. So I was like, yo, do you like, can I get a discount at the plaza? He's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. And I literally had to like almost pin him up against the wall and be like, Mike, you're not fucking paying for this. Because I found out he hooked me up in the plaza. Yeah. And I found out later, like, he doesn't get a free room in the plaza. He gets a discount. And that kid took it. He took it out of his pocket. And I was like, no, that's not what I wanted.
That is 100%
what a fucking great fucking guy.
Just like the nicest human being.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you look around Vegas, and that's what Vegas is full of, is like great human beings. I will tell you this. This is the least competitive city I've ever fucking been in. New York was a fucking nightmare. Like when I worked at Le Bernardin, we hated fucking Danielle. We hated Jean-Georges. We fucking hated that group of people, right? And it was like, oh, we're better than them every fucking day. We have to be better than them. And then I got to LA, and we had a short time where it was like really like this, and we had a really great scene. And then it was like, well, they're doing more covers than you. These guys are doing more rev than you. And then like, it just started to suck worse and worse and worse. And I got out here and I'm like, fuck, dude, I love Vegas.
Yeah.
Like the first two people I hired were Casey and Alfio, my two fucking best friends.
That's
right. I mean, like who does, like, you don't do that. Right. And then like, we just started together, and Alfio always says it. He's like, at the end of the day, I will do what I think is in your best interest, not my best interest. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Those are the guys you need around you.
Yeah.
And Vegas is full of good guys.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
I mean, it's definitely my favorite place outside of New York. Yeah. Like it's 100%. And I think the reason is it's like, I always say, I'm like, outside of the immediate like East Coast tri-state area, this is the most East Coast fucking town in the United States. And it's, you know, pretty cheap standard,
Dude,
you know what I mean?
You can live here.
You can live here.
You can afford to live in Las Vegas.
Yes, you can, like, as long as you're not a degenerate gambler or a fucking hardcore drug addict. Yeah. And if you are those things, you could still have a room.
Man, then it's your
You could
favorite.
still have a room. But no, if you, like, get a job, even if it's only like $20, $25 an hour or something like that, bro, that's a career out here.
Yeah,
like, you're buying a house. Yes. Like, you're like
this is
taking care of your
place
family.
In the country where cooks can buy a house.
Yeah.
You're a cook at a restaurant, why don't you have a house?
Bro, you know.
That's not a fucking conversation in San Francisco or LA or New York. No.
Bro,
not at
so
all.
where I live in Bushwick, which, you know, 10 years ago, like, you wouldn't even dream of fucking going
When
over
I lived
there.
out there 20 years ago, there's no fucking way I would go to Bushwick.
No, you would never. But it actually used to be an Italian community. The house that I live in is like built in 1910. Originally, when it was built, rich people lived there. They have a dumbwaiter in the fucking thing where like they would have servants in the basement and they would send shit up, whatever. Now, all these properties, like my entire community now is mostly like Dominican and Puerto Rican. And a lot of them own the buildings. They bought them, you know, 30 years ago or so when the Italians were moving out and they were moving in.
Yep.
And, but now it's considered commercial property.
Wow.
So it's between for my place, it's between $1 million and 1.4, but you can't put 10 or 20% down. You got to put between 30 and 60% down legally because it's considered commercial property. So it's like, you got to have a $400,000 nut liquid, just like here to even enter the market. Which, how the fuck do you do that?
You're running another business.
Yeah.
If you're running a business, the crazy thing is, like, if you're running a business and it's a business that's profitable, the SBA will give you a 10%. And then you can buy your house with a fucking SBA loan. And then you can create a home-based business. As long as 51% of your house is considered a home-based business, you can get a fucking loan for 4% with 10% down.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this afterwards because I fucking love that.